Have you ever wondered, is digital marketing right for me? Or maybe you're like, what is digital marketing? Well, I'm going to be answering those questions, so stay tuned because you're not going to want to miss this. Now, digital marketing can be a great resource to promote your service, your product. If you compare it to traditional marketing is things like mail order things, postcards, flyers, putting an ad in a newspaper or a magazine. But digital marketing can really appeal to a wider audience. So for those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Tanya Smith, and I'm a social media marketing consultant and trainer, and I help my clients to overcome the overwhelm that comes with creating content that leads to sales by offering simple strategies. I love to break it down and make it simple. Now, digital marketing, is it right for you? Well, that is one thing that we'll cover here in a minute, but if you're wondering what it is, it's basically a digital channel. So things like social media, email, search engines, these can be used to promote your product or service. And so one of the benefits of using digital marketing would be, you can reach a wider audience, but you can also target a specific audience, which is valuable because, as you may have heard, if you are talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. And so if you're struggling in this area, let's say you're posting content out on digital media, you're writing emails, and you're really not getting a response that you'd like, it could be that you have not narrowed your target audience. And we're going to cover that in a little bit in a few minutes. But I just wanted to give you to cover what was digital marketing. Now, is it right for you? Let's go dive into that. All right. So here's some questions to ask yourself. Do you have time and resources to dive into digital marketing? Now, if you're already on social media, right? You already know that it takes time to create content. It takes time to write emails. And sometimes you just wish you had someone to do it for you. And so you would like to hire someone, but you may not have the resources for that right now. Well, if you don't, then you have to have the time, right? So do you have the time and resources to invest in your digital marketing? And if you don't, it might not be a right fit for you right now. Do you know and understand who your target audience is? Like that's vital. So if you're creating a post and no one's responding at all, and I'm not saying you have to worry about vanity metrics, but there is some metrics to pay attention to. And if you're just not if you don't have the audience, if you've not grown or built an audience that's going to see your stuff, that actually is interested in seeing your stuff, then that might be something to consider. Not that you can't dive into digital marketing, but that you might want to be aware of before you do. Now, are you willing to be flexible and adapt your strategies based on feedback? Sometimes this is hard on us souls. I know when I was beginning, I started out online and I knew nothing. And there wasn't a lot of resources then. I finally found a platform that really changed my life, but I was struggling. I was, the idea of creating content every day was overwhelming. I didn't know what to talk about. I had all these things I could talk about, and I was trying to put it all, talk about everything, and I didn't have an audience at all. And I didn't understand why when I posted something, I didn't have people raising their hand and come leaning towards me and saying, I want that. I just didn't get it. And the reason is because I didn't have an audience, but I hadn't decided who my target audience is. And so, so answer those questions, and maybe that would give you, now if you're a business, those are some questions to answer. Are you ready to dive into the online space? Are you ready for that? So if you've answered yes to those, let's give you some tips for getting started in the digital marketing realm, okay? Number one, you need to define your goals. That's really important because you got to know, are you trying to increase sales? Are you trying to just generate leads? Are you trying to build your brand awareness? Because that's going to look differently on your call to action. And so it's going to look differently in how you create content, but it's also, once you define that, it's going to make it a lot simpler to create your content. If you know you're creating content to generate leads versus trying to increase your sales, it's going to look a little differently. If you're just trying to build brand awareness, that's actually kind of fun. Not a lot of stress there, right? You're just being you. If you're branding yourself, and that's how I teach my clients, is to brand yourself. All right. Show your genuine, authentic self. All right. So the second one is know your audience. This is so crucial, y'all. It is so crucial. Know what motivates them. What are their struggles? What do they struggle with? What is their pains? What solution do you have for them? And that is sometimes we get that backwards. We know the solution we want to offer people, but we don't really know. We're not talking to the people that have that problem. Or this is another important caveat to that. You are talking to the people that have the problem, but they're not open to it. So I remember in the beginning of my online, I was in network marketing. This was my first online diving into online space. And I just really felt like everyone needed what I had, and everyone could use it. And of course they could, right? But it was more of a natural based product. So I found that when I talked to people that were already into natural resources or remedies, they were open. But I liked, for some weird reason, I'd spend my time with the people that I had to convince, because I figured, well, I need to convince them, so I'm going to spend more time with them. And that's just backwards, okay? I need to just ignore them, basically, because if they heard what I was saying online and they started getting interest, that's different. But if I'm talking to that audience that's already open, my posture, my positioning is going to be totally different. So it's very important to know your audience. What is the problem you can solve, and who are those people open to hearing that? Who are the people open to getting their problem solved? Next, number 3 is engaging content. Create engaging content. Content is king. You may have heard that. But you want to create content that resonates with your audience. And you want it to speak to them in such a way that they're leaning in, wanting to know more. In fact, they might even say things like, oh my gosh, how'd you get inside my head? You know exactly what I'm feeling right now. You know exactly what I'm thinking. You know exactly what I'm going through. That is a good sign that you've created some good content that is speaking to your audience, that's going to get the reaction you want. Just gonna lead to sales. All right. Number 4 is be consistent. I hated this word when I first started, because I didn't want to have to post every day. I didn't want to show up every day. I didn't even want to be on social media at that time. And social media is one of the digital marketing components, right? I definitely didn't have an email list. And being consistent on showing up on social media and creating, writing to your newsletter is so vital to nourishing your audience, letting them get to know you. I think that's probably, if you're like, what does nourishing your audience mean? Just think about how can they get to know you better? I mean, we're online. It's not like you can go to the networking event in person in your town, and like that is an immediate connection when people are in person. So online, yes, you can have so many more potential, but you have to be strategic in how you make that connections and get to know people, right? So being consistent, showing up, creating that content, posting it regularly, posting social media posts regularly. Now, I'm not saying it has to be every day. I know that's probably going against what everyone's telling you. I'm saying it's not a bad thing to post every day, okay? But if you're just starting out and you're like, I can't post every day, then don't. Do what you can. If you can post once or twice or 3 times a week, start there. But you want to build up to eventually posting every day. And then on the other side of that, don't just post to post, create quality content, okay? Content that's going to serve your audience, content that's going to speak to your audience, whether it's, a curiosity post about your service or product, or just a message from your heart, right? This is things that get people engaged with you. Same thing with emails. You can do that too. People think emails have to be so official and so professional. I personally would rather read an email from someone, and I usually do open the emails from people I know that are going to share me their little story. I know my friend Kim Ward, she has goats, right? I love animals. So when I open her emails and she's talking about goats, I guarantee you I'm going to read them. And so will your audience. They love, I think, and you know your audience. Once you get to know your audience, you'll know whether they like that. And the beautiful thing is, if you are branding you and showing them authentic, you're going to attract those people that love hearing your stories, right? And if you have like a website or a blog, you want to make sure that's part of being consistent. You want to make sure that you're updating that. I don't know how many times I've opened a website and someone's just like, you can tell it's not been updated in a while, all right? They have some course they sold or a webinar or something that's like a year old, okay? You want to keep those updated. So last but not least, number 5 is measure the results. Now, measure your results and adjust your strategy accordingly can get difficult sometimes for people, because you create a post and it's not getting the engagement. You put your heart and soul in that post and it's not getting the engagement you thought it would, or you're putting your heart and soul and you wrote this email, you shared a story, and the open rate or click rate was ridiculous. My suggestion to that is, don't be attached to the outcome. Look at it as just what it is. You're measuring the result. This is evidence. You're just using this as evidence. You're not attached to the outcome. You're going to say, okay, that worked, that didn't. You can use tools like Google Analytics. You can use social media analytics. It's important to find out what's working and what isn't, right? So to recap, you want to define your goals. I'm going to make sure I cover this so you don't miss it, because I think it's really important to get clear on these key points, right? So define your goals, know your audience, create engaging content, be consistent, and whatever that means to you, right? Ideally, you're going to be consistent on a pretty much a daily basis. But if you're not there yet, don't stress it. Just work up to it, right? And then measure your results, right? Measure those results. Because if you don't measure your results, how do you know where you are when you send an email or post content or, put something out there, right? How do you know? And, the digital marketing can be a great way to promote your home-based business. It really can. And by answering these questions and following the tips, you can decide, is digital marketing right for me? And is it right for you and your home business, right? Now, if you would like a free trial of the platform that I used, and this is the platform that 3 years ago when I came online, I was looking for answers. One of the answers was people kept saying, you need a freebie. You need a landing page. You need this and you need that. And the freebie really got me stuck. I'm like, I don't know what it is and I don't know how to make one. And so this was the platform that got me started. So it taught me, not only gave me some freebies that I could just use, done for me stuff, but it also was where I create funnels. I've created courses. Me and my partner, my business partner, we have created a course from start to finish where we started like concept to selling in 2 weeks. Now it's even faster. So if this sounds something you'd like to, I need to check that out, make sure you click the link below, because it's a free trial, and you can check it out. And with that free trial, you can come in with me and my business partner, and we will be there to support you And if you're like, oh, I need to create a funnel, but I don't have a clue, I'm a little lost or whatever, we'd be there to help you. Plus, you got some AI assistance in this with this package. So don't forget to, one, to subscribe so you don't miss any more of these, because we're going to dive deeper into this content. Content, email marketing, live videos, fear of live videos, overcoming fear of live videos. All this is going to be covered in this channel. So make sure you subscribe, share it with someone that might need this. Take care and have a fabulous rest of your day.